Hello, thank you for joining me today. If we haven't met before, I'm Tilly Douglas, and today I want to show you how you can crochet a beautiful round and flat coaster. Now, a lot of people have a problem with crocheting a nice flat round because they often end up with a little bowl shape like this, which is all very nice. You can put your little trinkets in it and all that sort of stuff, but if we're not trying to get a little bowl, then I show you today how you can get a flat round. I've got lots of tips to show you different things that you can do. Now, the first thing is to make sure you have the right size hook for your yarn. So I did this one to show you the difference that it makes, because this I did with a 5mm crochet hook, and this was done with a 4mm crochet hook. So it pulled it all a bit tight. So as it pulls it tight, it pulls it up and into that bowl shape. And also, if you crochet a little bit on the tight side, just try going up half a hook size or even a full hook size, depending on how you crochet. Now, as I said, this one was a 5mm hook, and this one was the exact same yarn, and that's a 6mm crochet hook. And it's nice and flat, it's still nice and flat, but it has got quite a few gaps in it. It's left it a little bit gappy, so I prefer the 5mm. So it just makes a big difference. And the size, as you can see, is just a little bit bigger with the 6mm crochet hook, as you'd expect. And then the 4, well, that's all a bit out of shape, so you can't, it's difficult to tell with that one. So that's the first thing. Make sure you get the right size crochet hook for the yarn that you're using. Now, I did do these ones. I sat and did these while I was watching the television last night, and this is a different yarn again. This is a cotton yarn, and this is the Cotton Kings, which is a beautiful yarn, and you could then wash these at a higher temperature. But I've got lots and lots of different colours of these yarns, and they're just beautiful. So lots of colours, and I used a 3mm crochet hook for this. And don't they look beautiful? And they make such wonderful gifts. Or they can just brighten up your own. I mean, these, I've made these for myself actually. I'm going to put these are for standing plant pots on, because I'm such a fan of colours, and I think they look beautiful. So that's those, and they was a 3mm crochet hook. So I'm going to work today with a 5mm, and the yarn I'm going to be using is this Aran yarn, and it's from, I'm in the UK, so this is So Crafty from Aldi, and it's an Aran. This is a fuchsia yarn. I'm not actually using this colour. I'm going to use the dusky pink colour that I've done these in. So if you have this yarn, I mean, this was only £3.99 for 400 grams, so it's brilliant value, and it's such a beautiful yarn to use. So we're going to start at the centre, and we're going to work outwards. So to start with, we're going to do a magic circle. Now, if you can't get the hang of the magic circle, you can always do chain 3, then slip stitch to join the ends together, and then work into the little hoop that it makes. But I'll show you here how to do a magic circle. And if you haven't done it before, it'll take a bit of practice, but once you get it, you'll do it really, really easy. It's just practice. So if you need to pause the video and rewind it, just do it as many times as you want, and I'm sure you'll get the hang of it. So you just put the yarn, the tail end, over your fingers, hold on to it with your thumb, and then wrap the yarn around, and you make a little cross. Then hold hold on to that, put the yarn over those two fingers, and with this finger you just hold it in place. Put your crochet hook onto the first one, grab that yarn and pull it through and give it a little twist. So you've got a little crisscross here, and then we grab that piece of yarn and pull it through, and then we have our magic circle. So I'll just show you that again just to make sure. So drop the yarn over your hand and hold on to it with your thumb. Wrap that yarn over, make a little crisscross at the back and hold on to that, and then across the top of your fingers and hold on to it with this finger. So it's all nicely secure. Now put your crochet hook onto the first piece and drag the second piece through and twist it. And then grab that piece again and take it through the loop. And there's our magic circle. Now we start to crochet the center. Now we all start off with chaining 2, and I don't count the chain 2 as a stitch, not for doing these rounds. It works best for me, and I hope for you, when you don't, if you don't count it as a stitch, you won't get a gap. So that's why I like to not count these 2 stitches as an actual stitch. So we're going to do 10 double crochet into this loop. Now that's US double crochet. In UK terms, that would be a treble crochet. So we wrap the yarn around the hook, go into the loop, grab that yarn from the back and pull it through. And then we have 3 loops on the hook. And we yarn over and pull that through 2 of the loops. So now we have 2 loops on the hook. And then we yarn over and pull through both those 2 loops. So back to 1 loop on the hook. So that's a double crochet. And we're going to do 10 of those into this loop. So yarn over and go into the hoop, grab the yarn and pull it back through. And then yarn over and pull it through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull it through the other 2 loops. So that's our first 2 stitches done. Now when I do this, I hold on to these stitches here, because then it makes it a lot easier, because you crochet isn't moving all over the place like this. So you'll see what I mean when I do the next one. So we yarn over into that loop, grab the yarn and pull it back through, and then I'm holding on to it here, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through the other 2. So now we have 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and the chain of 2. And we're going to do 10 in total, so another 7. So yarn over into that loop, grab the yarn and pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And we're going to do that until we have 10 double crochet in that hoop. So if you need to pause the video, you can just pause it at any time and then just catch up or redo what you work if you need to, and then press play again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Get the tail out of the way. And try that one again. And 10. And then this is why it's the magic loop, because it just pulls together. You pull that tail end and then just pull that tight. So there's the start of our coaster. And now we're going to join these together. So we're going to join into this stitch here. So not the chain 2, we're going to join it at the top of that first stitch. So go into there. And make sure you get both parts of the stitch, because the stitches are these V's, so you need to get both parts of the V on there. So get our yarn ready, into that stitch, grab the yarn from the back and pull it through, and then pull it through that part. And that's that centre finished. And now we're going to go on to the next round. Now because we've done 10 in this first round here, each one of these rows will go up by 10. So this is 10, this will be 20, and this will be 30, and this will be 40. If we had 12 in the middle, for instance, we'd go with each one of these extra rounds would go up by 12. So to go our next round, we chain 2, which we don't count as a stitch, and that just brings it up to the height of the stitch, to the height of the double crochet. So we have our chain 2, and now we're going to do our first stitch right in the little gap at the base of that chain 2. So we're going to do a double crochet, and then we're going to do 2 in all of each of these stitches. So we'll have 20 stitches in total when we've finished. So we want 2 in each of the other stitches. This is quite a chunky yarn, so these crochet up really quickly, because you can do as many rows as you want really. Like the cotton ones that I showed you earlier, the brighter coloured ones, I did an extra row on those. You see these ones, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, or 6 rounds I should say, whereas these have 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, and they're about the same size, but obviously because it's a finer yarn, it needed a few extra rounds to them. So these work up really quite quickly. So back to crochet. So we're doing 2 in each of these stitches. This is just a perfect little crochet project to do while you're watching television at night. I don't know about you, I can't just sit and watch television, or I have to be doing something. I'm not very good at just sitting and watching television. I wish I could, but I just can't. I have to be doing something else, so crochet is the perfect thing for me. So that's got to the last stitch there, and we should have 19 stitches because we only did 1 in this first one. So we'll do a quick count up just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and the chain 2, which we're not counting as a stitch. So because we only did 1, this is the only round we do this on, but because we only did 1 in that first, at the bottom of that first chain, I like to do the 20th stitch in this part here, which we won't do on any of the other rounds. I just like to make sure that that centre has no gaps. So I put my 20th stitch in there, and then slip stitch to the top, so in that one there, and pull through, and that's our second round complete. And you see how, because I haven't sewn this tail end in yet, You can see there's a little bit of a gap here. Just get my little needle and show you this little gap in the centre. When we've finished, we can pull that tail end and that will close that up, unless you want it left open. Sometimes I do like to leave a little gap there, depends on what look you're going for, but sometimes I do like to leave a little gap. See, this one I left the gap, and this one, oops, sorry, this one I closed it up. So it just depends what look you're going for, really. But we can do that right at the end when we tie up all the edges. So that's our second row. Now for our third row, we've done 10 on this one and 20 on this one. So the next one we're going to do 30. So we do our chain 2 to get to the height of the stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet in that first little gap at the base of the chain 2. So a double crochet in there, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do 1 in the next, 2 in the next, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, all the way around until we've got right to the end, and we'll have 30. So we've done 2 in that one, so we want 1 in the next stitch and 2 in the next one. Do make sure you count your stitches, especially when you get to the end. Make sure you've got the right amount, otherwise that's when we end up with little problems like the bowl effect. If we don't have the right amount of stitches, that's when we start running into problems. So do count your stitches and keep checking. I mean, I still do it. I get to the end of the row and then think, oh, that's not quite right. I've only got 19 in there and there should be 20. So I have to go back and see where I've made a mistake. And often I'll just put 1 stitch where I should have had 2. So there's lots of fireworks going off tonight. It's a bit early for New Year's Eve, although by the time I get this video uploaded, it probably will be New Year's Eve, or probably New Year's Day. But they've started early with the fireworks, which isn't good. My dogs don't like fireworks, as most dogs don't, do they, really? But there's a lot going off tonight. So I hope it'll soon be, they'll soon be finished with that. So just coming to the end of this round. See how quickly that works up. So 1 in there and 2 in the last one. So we're not putting a stitch in this one this time. See that on the previous round we put 1 in this stitch, but that was just for that 1 round. So we should now have 30 stitches plus the chain 2 in this one. So we'll make sure we just count up just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and the chain 2. Perfect. And it's looking nice and flat, which is what we like. So now we're just going to slip stitch it to the top of this stitch here. So into there, grab the yarn and pull it through, and pull it through there. So So with this one we did 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got 3 already. So one more round and that is complete. Unless you want to go bigger, you can keep going if you want to, but chain 2 to bring in the stitch height, a double crochet in that first little gap, and this time we're going to do another single one, so a double crochet in the next one, and then we're going to do 2 in the next one. So do 2 double crochet in there, and then we're going to do a double crochet, and 2 double crochet. So 1 and a 1 in that one, and a 2 in that one. So this works however many you're doing. If you're making a great big round, it works exactly the same way. So you do 10 in this center, and then in each of those you do 2, and then as you go out you do 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then the next round you go a 1, 1 and a 2, a 1, 1 and a 2, and the next round would be a 1, 1, 1 and a 2, a 1, 1, 1 and a 2. So you're doing 3 singles and then 2 in the same stitch, 3 singles and 2 in the same stitch, and then if you went out another row you'd do 4 singles and then a 2 in the next stitch, and 4 and a 2, and you keep going like that, the same sequence however big you want it. And remember, the rule of thumb is however many you have in the center, you double that for the next one. So you have 10 in here, you'd have 20 in there, and then you'd have 30 and 40 and 50 and 60, however many rounds you decide to do. But for this size close-up, we're just going to do the 4 rounds. So we're doing, that was a 2 in that one, so we're going to do a double in that one, and a double in that one, and 2 doubles in that one, and then a double in that one, a double in that one, and 2 doubles in that one. And pull some more yarn out. So a double, and 2 doubles. And now don't forget, at the end I'm going to show you a way to make them completely flat. I'm going to show you how to block your crochet work, which means if they've got a little bit of a curve to them, we can flatten it out. 2 in this one, and just check, make sure, double, 1, 1, 2, yeah. So now we'll do a single one in there, a 1 in there, and 2. And don't worry if your work is turning up a bit at the edges like this, that will flatten out. It's just, that's as you're working it, it's just how it works, but that will flatten out nicely. Another 1 in there, and then a 2. One and 2, and then we're coming up to the end. So this final sequence now, 1, 1, and in the last stitch we want 2. So we're just going to go back and count our stitches, flatten it all out. So we should have 40 in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and the chain 2. Perfect. That's just what we wanted. So all we're going to do now is going to slip stitch to the top there, pull that yarn through and through there. Now pull it through a little bit, and we're just going to cut a little bit of a tail. And then pull that through. It won't unwind, it's all tied nicely because that's a stitch, so that won't pull out. So don't pull it too tight. You don't want to be giving it a proper pull. Just make sure you've got it nice and even. And then we're going to get our darning needle. Thread that. And then we're going to weave this tail end into these stitches. Now what I just like to do is, where we've finished here, I just like to take it through the back loop of the stitch there, to take it to the back, because we always tie the ends in on the back of our work. So this is the front, so we turn it over and we just weave it through those stitches a bit. Just follow the line of one of the stitches and take it down like that and pull it. Remember, don't pull it tight because we want it to keep its nice shape. Now we'll just take it off in a different direction, just so it doesn't unravel. Give it a little gentle tug and pull it back into shape, and then go back. Make sure you don't go back into the same hole that you've just come out of, but go back into another stitch and take it through the opposite way, just like that, and pull that through. And now we can just snip that off, being careful not to cut your work, just the end obviously. There. And that's that one done. Now we've just got to finish this tail end off here. So remember, if you want to pull it tight to close that hole up like I have there, you can pull it tight, or you can leave a little gap, whatever you prefer. So I've just pulled this one tight. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. Thread our needle. And we're just going to go back through the work and lose that thread in those stitches. This way, when you put them in the wash machine, they're not all going to unravel. You know they're going to be nice and secure. And just take it back the other way. You don't want it to come out the other side, so make sure to keep it just in the stitches on the back side. Don't poke it right through. You don't want to be going right through and having a big thread across here. So just backwards and forwards until it's just all lost in the stitches like that. There. And then cut that thread off. And there's our beautiful coaster. Now I'm going to show you now how, when it's sitting up, because all crochet work should be blocked, so I'll show you, and that makes it, helps keep it flat, puts it in shape and helps it to keep its shape. I haven't actually blocked any of these yet, so I might just carry on and do that tonight as well, just so that they all sit nice and flat and keep the nice round shape. So I will show you how I do that. So all crochet should be blocked, and what we mean by blocked is pin it into shape just using some little pins, just normal little pins, and put it on I've doubled this towel over to make it nice and thick, and push the pins into it. Now I haven't stretched these coasters, these are just put into shape and the pins pushed straight down into the towel. So what we're going to do now is get our steamer iron. I'm not going to iron them, as you might imagine. I'm just going to use the steam. So I'll hold it above the coaster and give it a blast of steam. So just press the steam button without touching the actual coasters with the iron. Just the steam. There. And then we're just going to let those dry naturally. They'll be wet, don't worry, and don't burn yourself. So you just do need to be careful. But we'll just let those dry naturally, and then when they're dry, you will find how they will just hold the shape beautifully. So we'll come back when they're all nicely dry, and I'll show you exactly how they look. So I've left these to dry, and they're all nicely ready now. So we'll just take the pins out, and I will show you the difference that it makes. So these are the ones that I've blocked, and they're all finished, all dried, and I just wanted to show you the difference between these ones that I've blocked and these ones that I haven't blocked. Now they are nice and flat, but you can just see a slight difference and how those little edges just raise a little bit, and then these ones just sit beautifully and flat. See what a difference that makes. And these are all the flat ones, and these are the ones that I haven't yet blocked. So you can see how important it is to block your work. This one hasn't been blocked, although it still sits nice and flat. Just got the little edges just turned up slightly, which is perfectly normal for crochet and for knitting. And then that's a beautiful flat edge, and then this one that hasn't yet been blocked. See what a difference it makes. So if your work is slightly turned up at the edges, that's perfectly normal, but we're trying to avoid this. So block your work and you'll have beautifully flat coasters every time. So I do hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click the like button, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.